Love, Realism, and Other Delusions Retold. Episode 11. The Fall of Her. Act 2. Before we resume the episode, I must warn you. This episode will continue to break your heart. If you're already having a bad day, the rest of the episode will only make it worse. Now, even though there are still some good and happy scenes, it doesn't change the fact that it's a depression episode. Not to mention, the climax has intense violence. Please proceed with caution. The Mythstory teller. After school, Yuuta and Rikka were at her apartment, where Rikka had all her belongings lined up. "I don't have much time left," she said. "I promised Mama that I'd have all this cleaned up by the time she returned home this evening." "What?" asked Yuuta. "If I keep it the way it is, I'm sure she'll worry. I don't want to make her worry anymore." "Okay then. Where do you think we should begin?" "For starters, everything on the floor." "Got it." So Yuuta and Rikka began to clean up and box her trinkets from her Chunibyo-hood. While Rikka was cleaning from her side, Yuuta picked up the military Mauser he pretended to use from last spring. He then picked up a small dinosaur statue. It was one of the objects Rikka showed Yuuta when she said, "These are all valuable artifacts," back when her boxes were blocking the entrance to Yuta's apartment. Rikka was still cleaning and was about to take down her black bed sheets when Yuuta said, "You're gonna take that down too?" "Why not?" asked Rikka. "What do you mean, why not?" "I can't tell the difference between what to get rid of and what not to anymore," she said sadly. Yuuta smiled. "Okay then, let's take it down." "Yes. Thank you, Yuuta," smiled Rikka. For once, she wasn't as soulless as I remembered. Soon, Rikka's apartment was pretty much clean. Yuuta was concerned, holding Genbu the stuffed turtle. "You're okay with this? Throwing everything away just because?" "I think this will put Mama at ease," replied Rikka. "Hey Yuuta, I'm hungry. Are you?" "Yeah. Your mom's flight gets here late, right? Want to go to my place?" "We can't go out?" "Either's fine with me." As Yuuta and Rikka were leaving, the former took one good look at Rikka's boxes before they left her apartment. That night, Yuuta and Rikka were having dinner under the same bridge they confessed 3 weeks ago. They were having the same dinner from summer vacation, back when Rikka had to spend the night at Yuta's. Rikka was still fascinated by the onigiri rice triangle, down to its method of opening it. Yuuta and Rikka were looking at the Seta River. Yuuta looked to his left. "Pretty, isn't it?" asked Yuuta. Rikka looked to her left too. And there they were, the lights they saw 3 weeks ago. "Yeah, but they're just cars," she said. "It's only the reflection of the headlights on the water." "Yeah, but still," smiled Yuuta. "Hey Yuuta, Mama said she wants to visit the hometown and visit the grave with me," said Rikka. I already knew what she was talking about, but Yuuta didn't, so Rikka was more specific. "Papa's grave." Yuuta gasped. "What do you think?" asked Rikka. "I think," began Yuuta. He thought and thought. Finally, Yuta's response was, "I don't know. What do you think?" "I think it would make Mama happy if I went," replied Rikka. "Then that's what's best for you, isn't it?" smiled Yuuta. "Yeah. If it's what you want, Rikka, then who am I to judge?" asked Yuuta. Then, Rikka showed him her pinky, and the two students touched pinkies. "Thanks, Yuuta," said Rikka. "I'm going back to my apartment now," and she left. "Take care," said Yuuta. He then looked at his own pinky he touched with Rikka. Rikka was running on the sidewalk back to her apartment when Kumin showed up with her cat Dodaman with a cone. "Oh, hello Rikka," said Kumin. "Oh, Kumin," she replied. Rikka then noticed Dodaman was wearing a cone. "He got hurt a little," said Kumin. Rikka looked soulless at the moment. "Hey, is something wrong, Rikka?" asked Kumin. Rikka then handed her a box. It had a note on top which read, "Do not open until tomorrow night." "Thank you, Rikka," said Kumin. "You're welcome," replied Rikka. Over at Yuta's apartment, he was looking at his pinky, and he remembered about him cleaning up at Rikka's. "Thanks, Yuuta," her voice echoed in Yuta's head. "It couldn't be," he said, worried. Yuuta thought Rikka was moving away and hoped it wasn't the case. The next day, Dekomori and Ishiki were in not Rikka's clubroom. It isn't her clubroom if she disbanded it. It was starting to become cloudy that day. Deko was still sad. "Still thinking about Rikka?" asked Ishiki. "Yep," replied Deko. "I'm so sorry," said Ishiki. "It's hard to say goodbye to someone you love and or grew up with. Someone once told me that no one's ever really gone, as long as we remember them." That made Deko kind of smile. "You're right. Master is not gone yet." "That's not what I meant," frowned Ishiki. Just then, Nibutani showed up. "How's it going?" she asked. "I'm doing fine while Deko's still trying to recover from her sadness," replied Ishiki. "That's good," said Nibutani. "Master's not gone yet! I just know it!" exclaimed Deko. "Huh, I thought she was going back to her hometown," said Nibutani. "She what?" exclaimed Deko. Ishiki was surprised too. "No! I'm not letting Master go again! Hold on, Master! I'm coming!" And with that, Dekomori raced out of the clubroom. "If there's anything she has in common with you, Ishiki, it's that she never gives up," said Nibutani. "Yeah, I have a feeling it's not going to end well," said Ishiki. "No kidding," replied Nibutani. Yuuta and Rikka were at Ishiyama Station waiting for a train to take Rikka to her hometown. "So look," began Yuuta, "you're coming back, aren't you? Once you've visited your father's grave, you're coming back to Otsushiga, right?" "I hope so," replied Rikka. The two students smiled for a moment. And then there was trouble. "Stop right there!" "Oh no," said Yuuta. It was Dekomori. She was seriously determined to bring back the Rikka she knew. "Dekomori," said Rikka, "Ishiki told me that no one's ever really gone. So long as I'm your servant, even if I'm cast out of the world of darkness, I'll always be by your side, Master," said Deko. "Man, she doesn't know when to quit," said Yuuta. "Reality rejected." "Not again." "Synapses shattered. Banishment from this world." Dekomori imagined herself full of fantasy power and attacked Rikka. In reality, she was hitting her with her pigtails bags. Dekomori used Destiny Mjolnir Impulse, but nothing happened as Rikka stood there, still soulless. Deko then used Ultimate Technique, but nothing happened. Yuuta then grabbed Deko and pulled her away from Rikka. "Don't touch me!" she screamed, and she then fell to her knees. Just then, the train arrived to pick up Rikka. She got on board, looked at a heartbroken Deko, then at Yuuta. The whistle blew, and the doors closed, and the train took Rikka away. Yuuta watched as it slowly left the horizon. They didn't get to say goodbye to each other. "Why don't you make her stay?" said Deko sadly. She then got up and asked, "Why don't you beg her to stay? My master wants you to say it. Say you'll help her look for the invisible boundary lines and beg her not to go." "What do you mean?" asked Yuuta. Deko began to cry again. "Master said it's because Dark Flame Master is here that the Eye of the Wicked Lord is protected. You were the reason for everything. That's why when Dark Flame Master said there were invisible boundary lines, she called me, Dekomori, on the phone. And she called again when you entered a contract of love." She was crying! Master was crying! My master, the strongest master of all! She believed in you! Why can't you say that the eye of the Wicked Lord is the strongest? Why can't you say be enveloped in the flames of darkness anymore? Deko was constantly hitting Yuuta with her pigtails. Why do you remain so silent, Dark Flame Master? Why? 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 Deep inside Yuta's soul, something dark resonated within. Yuta's scleras turned black. It was hate. Yuuta then grabbed Deko's pigtails and arms.
What good would saying it do?
He asked sternly.
I used to say it to make her happy, but what good is it?
Before Deko could even answer, Yuuta said,
There are no invisible boundary lines. Her father's gone forever, and there's nothing we can do about that. Nothing can bring him back, no matter how much she wants me to.
The hate started to take over Yuuta.
No matter how many scenarios she invents, no matter how powerful she believes she is, when something's gone, it's gone!
Shut up! Screamed Deko. Yuuta frowned sinisterly.
You stupid idiot! Have any of your attacks ever had any effect? Have any of your weapons actually appeared?
Whether they work or not, magic works. It always works, sobbed Deko.
They haven't. No matter how much you think it, no matter how much you believe it, none of it is real!
And with that, Dekomori's sadness went above the charts. I know that. I know that. I know that. I know that. Then, the hate had fully taken over Yuuta. He smiled.
Aw, did I hurt your feelings? Here, let me help you.
Yuuta grabbed onto Dekomori's pigtails and... Ow! He ripped them off. Thankfully, Deko wasn't bleeding, as she only had neck-length pigtails now, but that didn't change the fact that she was in so much pain. My lovely hair! You're a monster, Dark Flame Master! Deko felt betrayed. Yuuta then shape-shifted his right hand to a harpoon gun. His left hand grew bigger and held Dekomori down.
If you're not ready to grow up, you're not ready to face the world.
Yuuta aimed his gun at Deko's heart. She was traumatized and struggling to break free. No! Help! Please! Ishiki! Kumin! Fake Mori Summer! Anybody! Dusukete!
But nobody came. That's a real big shame. Nobody's coming to save you. Friends don't last forever in the end.
Dekomori closed her eyes and waited for it to be over, and Yuuta fired his harpoon gun. Deko opened her eyes. The harpoon was in midair, motionless, centimeters from her chest. What? Asked Yuuta and Deko. Suddenly, Yuuta started to shake and groan. The hate was being drained by me. I used my magic to stop Yuuta from killing Deko. When the hate was all gone, Yuuta dropped to the ground with his body and hands normal again. That was an ordeal, said Yuuta. Dekomori's pigtails were still ripped. And she ran away sobbing. Yuuta looked at her pigtails in weighted bags on the ground. He picked them up and began to cry. No. That's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted at all. He remembered that hate Rikka said from 3 weeks ago.
We should have defeated the priestess while we had the chance. Or you should have let Darth Vader choke me. Or you should have let me take the fall. It would have been less painful than this.
If you think about it, how does something as dark as that sound so wrong yet so right? And Yuuta asked himself, why are we still here? Just to suffer. I can assure you, that did not happen in the original anime. As for Rikka, she wasn't doing well on her way back to her hometown either. Yuuta, she said sadly,